Recently, my family and I had the incredible opportunity to do some exploring of nature in Iceland. And I'm not forgetting this is a permaculture channel, so I'm going to link everything back to permaculture. And it's actually quite easy to do in this Nordic country because two main focuses of permaculture are care of the earth and also care of the people. And from what we have read and also experienced by being there, Iceland seems to do both pretty well. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the incredible things that we saw and some of the ways we witnessed permaculture in action. Welcome to True Freedom Permaculture, where I show you all the tips and tricks you need to have a green thumb, even if you weren't born with one. Located in southwestern Iceland is the largest city and the capital, Reykjavik. And something that I noticed in this urban environment is that it did a fantastic job of integrating nature with people. And they had really smart design of city parks. I remember taking a stroll through one when we were going to some of the museums, and I was impressed by the way that they used trees as windbreaks essentially, and they used them as borders, and they used them for privacy and kind of creating sections within parks. And I saw that not only in larger scale parks, but in smaller ones in subdivisions as well throughout Iceland. So that was just one way that I saw that they made nature very accessible for the people who live there. Also, I remember getting coffee one morning and I walked by like a kindergarten looked like, and they had a garden area. So it looked like they were teaching kids about how to grow things in nature from very young. And in the Airbnb where we stayed, there was also a lovely, I'm going to call it a fairy garden, because that is what it looked like to me. Like this woodland magical place where I thought I was going to see like an elf pop out or something. And it was just really charming and a way to embrace all the beauty of nature in the middle of the city. So that's just a few examples of the way that they really merge the natural environment with the inhabitants of the country. Thingvellir National Park was founded by law in 1930, and it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And there are a couple unique things about it. One of them is that you can walk between two tectonic plates, and it's the tectonic activity which has shaped some of this dramatic landscape. Located within the park is a lake. It's actually Iceland's largest lake, and it is Lake Thingvallavatn. And I know, yeah, my Icelandic is terrible. So sorry. But that lake, I thought it was really interesting to learn that the clarity of the water within the lake is due to the fact that the surrounding lava fields actually filter the water. And this allows light to access the greater depths of the water than would be possible normally. And as a result of this, more plants grow, there's more photosynthesis occurring, and therefore larger amounts of biological activity. For example, this means that there's a large population of brown trout and also Arctic char, which you do find on many menus in Iceland, and it's delicious. We even had the chance to try some herbal tea, such as this tea that I purchased, which had some birch, angelica, and some Icelandic moss. Then located in the southern part of Iceland was Reynisfjara Beach, which is a famous black sand beach, and it is notable for its black basalt columns, and they make for these very dramatic organ pipe looking formations. And basalt is a type of rock that is created by volcanoes, so it's one of the few places where you're going to see something like this. I don't even know if such a place exists in other areas of the world. If there is, please let me know, because I'd love to know that. But these columns also formed unique habitats for puffins, which are these adorable little kind of, I don't know, they're kind of like a penguin meets a dove, but they're adorable. And I was so happy because they usually start to head north by this time, but I was happy that we got a chance to catch them. And I wish I had a better lens for you so I could take a closer up picture of the puffins, but hopefully you can kind of see the little white dots in this photo, and that is them. Talking about volcanoes leads me into the next permaculture theme that I noticed, which was the efficient use of natural resources and energy. And this is evidenced in Iceland's use of geothermal activity in things like baths, for example, and electricity, and you will see evidence of this all over the place, and especially in bathing too. So some of you might have heard of like the Blue Lagoon, for example. This is an example of, I've heard it referenced as a hot pot or something like that, but basically like nature's hot tub. So instead of trying to fight it, they really use it to their advantage, and I think that that's really smart. Let's talk about the sheep. Cute, okay? These were one of the few animals that we actually saw when we were driving around the ring road in Iceland. And in permaculture, they say that things should serve multiple purposes, and the sheep are no exception. So primarily they are bred for their meat. So lamb is one of the best things you could possibly try in Iceland. I had lamb there, and it was the best lamb I have ever had, hands down. But they are also used to create products such as lanolin, wool, and just by grazing alone, they really help to cut down on the grassy fields. The water in Iceland, just Iceland being an island and surrounded by water, but then also there were glaciers, and it's just crazy to think about these ice caps and how long they've been around. And then there was the stunning scenery of Black Diamond Beach, which we weren't even planning on stopping at. I know it's crazy, but then we saw it and we were like, we can't not stop there. And just seeing all of these different scenes, and this brings me to the topic of microclimates and how many there were in Iceland. And I just remember thinking to myself when we were driving, there was one particular day where we probably, I don't know, went through at least 4 or 5 different settings and each setting looked completely different from the one before. And you had like rocky, kind of dry terrain in the base of the West Fjords, and it just varies so incredibly there. And I feel like in the US you'd have to drive the entire country and you still might not even see such a diverse array of microclimates. So that's definitely something that stuck with me.